Well, welcome into another exciting episode of The Scene. We are on the bus here with Aurelia and Alyssa Ruffin. Welcome to the show, ladies.
Thank you.
Well, we are here. It is still Josie Music Awards weekend, I'm going to call it, even though it's a Tuesday night now. But celebrating a big win for you, obviously. And your first time bringing your daughter to the awards show with you, and you're having a huge week here in Nashville. So Thanks so much for taking a little bit of time for me today.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So before we get too far in, obviously you were nominated and you won this weekend. What was the category that you won in?
Social Impact Song of the Year for The Sacrifice.
And that's such a big one, right? I was so impressed with the people who had this social impact video. Tell us a little bit about the song and the meaning behind it.
So my husband has been serving for 20 years in the military. He was Air Force. He's Space Force now. So he's been in. I've been a military wife, and we go through these moments in time where he comes home and he's got to deploy overseas and leave the family, and I have to tell the kids, or we have to tell the kids together, or whatever it is. So he's gone, and even without deployments, they have trainings that they go to, TDYs and schooling and all these different things. So there's moments in time where he's absent, and I wanted to write a song from those experiences, not just from the military spouse perspective, but also from the perspective of the military member, of veterans who've gone through this, and the families affected, so the kids, even parents. So that's where the song was inspired from, a true moment from my personal experience as a military spouse.
Yeah, and I think a lot of us, and obviously you know me a little bit to know that we have Operation Combating Veteran Suicide, and our veteran community means so much to us. But I think a lot of people forget that it's not just the veterans that we need to thank, it's their families who really make the sacrifices. Maybe not the ultimate sacrifice, but plenty of them. Time away from the family and time away from your loved ones, and the strain that it puts on the spouses to maintain the household as essentially a single parent in that time, right? And raising kids, and for people like you that have, your husband's made a career out of this, it's not easy, right? It's never easy. So I love that. Not only did your song get nominated, but that you won, because it brings that awareness to the situations that a lot of us just don't think about. Unless you're in it, or military families, and know that situation, you're really not going to think about that and the sacrifices that are made in the home as well.
Right, correct.
Yeah. So awesome. What was it like up there on the stage?
It's amazing, and I won before and got to go in the circle, but this moment was just more special and very personal to me. And Aurelia was with, so I brought her up on stage with me, and she got to stand there and be by my side.
I was shaking more than you were
in that moment.
Yeah, nerve-wracking looking out at all those people, right? Well, and you're down here because you guys are, not only I know Mom is in the recording studio and doing some work, but you're also trying to launch your music career now and getting that experience for you. So, I mean, not that you didn't earn it, because you did earn it. You lived the life that the story, was about, that won the award. So you had some input into that. But now, as you get ready to, launch your own career, does stepping out there kind of, does it encourage you and excite you to say, hey, I want this for myself?
It definitely inspired me a lot.
Yeah, and how could it not, right? I
Yeah.
mean, it's stepping onto that iconic stage and to feel that, that energy, that's the shaking, right? The energy that's on that stage, the history of it.
Pure adrenaline.
Yeah. Feels good, doesn't it? Yeah. I've been an adrenaline junkie in this business for 25 years now, so I feel you in every way. I stepped on stage for my first time with my dad's band when I was maybe 14 years old. And same thing, quivering, and I got all worked up because I forgot some of the words to this song, and then I realized that, I was singing a Grateful Dead song to like 3 people in the crowd that knew it, right? Everyone else, because I was in front of my whole hometown. My first gig was a July 4th celebration, so it was a pretty big deal in front of my whole hometown, but nobody else knew all those words, and everybody thought I did wonderful, right? And
of course.
It was turning all of that energy into a positive and into the performance, and really focusing on just that moment. and those moments turn into more moments, and it just keeps growing and growing.
They do, and I told her, you know, like, even though I had been out there before, every time is different. Every experience, you're in that moment particularly, and this time was, you know, like, I was up there and I forgot who I was thinking, and I had jotted
I saw
it
that. I
down.
love that, and I love that that's going to show up on the videos when they post them on the ACN network and the American Country Network that the Josies will air on at a later date. I loved it. I love that you took a little peek up there in your yellow feathered dress, and you looked absolutely stunning. And I know that you paid the price for it as well.
I did.
Getting to talk to you out in the drink line, and it was just so fun to share the moment with fellow Midwest Country Music Organization members and people that we've really grown to love. Right, Samantha Grimes was there; she won an award as well.
Yeah.
And it was just a real joy to watch so many of my friends. You know, especially Jasmine Kane, who won later in the night and put on an absolutely iconic performance
She did.
inside of that
Awesome.
Grand Ole Opry. Yeah, I think she might be knocking on the door here before we finish this interview, possibly. So we'll see.
Ooh,
We'll see if
awesome.
we get her in here at the same time.
That'd
Last
be
time we did an
sweet.
interview, somebody else popped in too. So you never know what's going to happen here on the bus. We are filming this live. We are not in a studio. We are literally on the bus, and an iconic bus at that. You have a George Jones story, and I don't think that we can sit here without telling that. So I just kind of want to give you a chance to tell us. You don't have to get into the details necessarily, but give us the short synopsis of what happened.
Okay, a short synopsis. I was a angry teenager. I was trying to walk home to cool off, and I decided to take a shortcut. And I hopped a fence and got the cops called on me, and it happened to be George Jones's private property. So.
And now here you are on his bus, and obviously it's no longer his, but I think it will always be his.
This
Right?
is what we call a full circle moment.
Yes, it is. I feel like there was a lot of those at this Josie Awards, and this was
Yes.
my first time in Nashville and my first time at the Opry. But it's also a huge validation for me and what I'm doing with this podcast and what we've been building in our brand. That we are. I don't want to say that maybe we're essential to it, but we add a lot of value to not just this award show, but to the music community as a whole.
Yeah.
And I think in some ways I needed a little bit of that validation this week to see where I stood on the biggest stage in, you know, my career by far, and the biggest stage that I may ever see. I don't know that it gets bigger than the Grand Ole. I mean, maybe the Grammys or something like that, but I'm not necessarily interested in that next level of the music business. Like, to be that big of a star or to work with people that are that big of stars doesn't necessarily interest me. I would much rather work and be surrounded by people that understand the grind that it is, that understand the connection that we're trying to make. And I feel like, especially with your song, and this a new song that you had written recently?
I wrote it a couple of years ago. It released last year.
Okay, so it's still pretty fresh,
Yeah.
and still out there connecting with people, and this
Yeah.
is going to give it more notoriety out there. And there's going to be so many military families that listen to this and go, she's telling her story, right?
Absolutely.
And
I hope so. That's the hope.
Yeah, well, but that's why we write music,
Right.
right? Is that we're trying to get out a bit of ourselves to throw it out there into the world and see who else it resonates with.
Yeah.
And that's what this music business and doing it is all about. I know you've been doing this full time for quite a while. We won't say exactly how long, but you've been chasing this career, and you kind of got that from your mother. So you talked about the George Jones story, but you were here actually because your mother was pursuing a career in the record industry way back then, and now you're here with your daughter Aurelia, and she's beginning hers. You talk about full circle, right?
Full circle
That's
moment.
great.
Yeah.
What's kind of the inspiration for you to not just pursue it for yourself, but to also try to make that, you know, a reality for your daughter as well?
I think the shift for me musically was not pursuing it for myself. It actually kind of shifted more towards writing music for other people in their healing journey, whatever that may be, because as human beings, we tend to gravitate towards music. Even if we're not musically inclined, we're not, you know, singers or musicians or whatever it may be, producers. People just like to listen to music. If we're heartbroken, like, we put on a record that's, you know, so we can cry our eyes out, and you know what I mean? Or if we're in a good, oh, I love this song, it's a, you know, summer song, whatever it may be. And so I wanted to write music for the people, having my career inspire my children is just a blessing and an extra little bonus on the side. You know, all my girls sing, so it's definitely heartwarming.
Yeah, it just runs in the family.
Yeah.
And when you grow up around singers, I know that it's very easy to just fall in line, right?
Yep.
But for you, Aurelia, is this something that you're really passionate about pursuing, and seeing your mom doing this and being here this weekend in the recording studio?
Yeah.
Does it inspire you, or is it a little bit daunting to say, I don't know if I can fill these shoes, right?
A little bit of both.
Yeah.
More inspiring, if anything, though. I've always been inspired by her.
I've actually tried to discourage her.
Well, how could you not? We know how much work it is,
Yeah.
right? And we know
That's what I tell her. I don't want you to have to go through what I did.
Well, and we know how discouraging it can be when you feel like no one's listening and you're not getting that connection with people, and you're, you know, as someone who's been doing this for a quarter of a century now, I know all those lows. And it's probably what makes me a very good host for this show, talking to independent musicians, because I know the struggle, right? And I haven't really got to celebrate any of the highs of this. I've had a few recent wins lately and things like that, but those are all coming after 20 years of doing this, you know? So I understand the struggles that it takes, and being a father myself to, you know, kids. I have a teenager now as well, and seeing him and knowing what he wants to do and pursue any dreams that he wants, right? I'm never going to push something onto my kids and to make them follow in the family footsteps.
Sure.
God help them if they ever do, you know?
Right.
It's just an incredible amount of work, and I see it every day from artists like a Tyler Herwig, you know, chasing them around yesterday throughout Nashville while he's shooting content.
Yeah.
And I watched him perform the same hook from his songs 400 times and going, I don't have that, right? Like, I buddy, God bless you, because I don't have that. And that really, you know, and it's not necessarily discouraging to me, and even to say that, it's just like, yeah, I have my thing now, and I'm glad that I found this, and I'm so happy to have had podcasting and this platform now to share with people, because it's I can't imagine doing what it takes to make it in the music business now. It's a ton of work, because you have to be a creator, and you have to be your manager, and you have to be your booking agent, and all of these things. And there's more.
Hats.
And there's more. And, well, and you've got plenty of hats too, Alyssa. I saw them in the back seat. It's incredibly hard, and it's more. I mean, we saw the Josies had over 86,000 submissions for their award show this year.
Yeah.
That's insanity.
It is crazy. That's like 2.5% of those submissions only receive a nomination. So,
and that's something that I pointed out and talking with Tyler, and we're rolling around with him, was, you know, he was a little disappointed that he didn't win. He had 5 nominations, and like, come on, we got to win one of these, right?
Win, though. You got
and you got 5. You got nominated in 5 different categories. That's incredible. That's incredible. And you should hang your hat on that, because that's such a small percentage of people, but then an even smaller percentage that are winners as well. And there's all of this has value in the world. And I think that's what's so awesome about the Josies, and my first time working with Tina Marie and Josie, and a big shout out to them. Thank you, ladies, for having us and making this possible, because it means something. And it mean, in a world where it's so easy to get overlooked by everyone, it's nice to have these things that set you apart. So awesome.
Absolutely.
Well, before I let you go ahead and plug everything. Tell us where we can hear the song and where we can find out more about Alyssa Ruffin. And Aurelia, if you got your social medias and stuff out there working already, you're free to share too.
Yep. So you can go to alyssaruffin.com. Also, The Sacrifice is available on all digital platforms, and my brand new upcoming Christmas single, All Wrapped Up in Christmas, is releasing very soon, within the next couple of weeks. And then Aurelia.
You can find me through our band page, Bullet Queen Music, or Aurelia Halo on Instagram.
Awesome. Well, ladies, thank you so much for being on the bus with me. Thank you for being part of the scene.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, nailed it.